Okay, well, hello and welcome to our Global DBA Info session. Thank you for joining us. Today's session is designed to give you a clear overview of the program, help you understand what the Global DBA journey looks like in practice, and give you an opportunity to hear directly from one of our graduates about her experience and her accomplishments. Here's our agenda for today. We'll begin with short introductions, then move into an overview of the Global DBA, hear from our graduate speaker and her supervisor, and finish with admissions guidance and your questions. So as always, we want this to be practical and useful. So please feel free to type your questions into the chat throughout the session, and I will bring them into the discussion during the Q&A. And before we begin, I'd like to ask our distinguished panel of speakers to introduce themselves. They'll be sharing their expertise and perspectives with you throughout this session. So let's start with Professor Fiona Schweitzer.
Hello, good afternoon, good evening, or in whatever time zone you are. So I'm the DBA academic director, and I'm also full professor of marketing innovation with my research focusing on decision-making in an innovation context.
Thank you. And Cindy.
Absolutely. Thanks, Jeannie, Fiona, for inviting me. Hello, everybody. I'm Zenth Bang. So I am from Singapore and I moved to Paris and I started taking this program. So I work for S&P Global at the moment. So my work right now, I lead the enterprise marketing strategy and demand generation function. And I can definitely share with you what's interesting about the work if you're interested. But in general, what is on my mind right now is transforming our organization towards the AI and agentic model. And I'm very keen to share with you my publication too. So I look forward to questions and the journey. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm so excited to have you with us here today and hear more. And Marie-Pierre.
Yes, hello everybody. My name is Marie-Pierre Cross. I'm project manager and head of recruitment and admission for this program. And I will be your first point of contact if you have questions about this program.
Thank you. And let's see, Araceli, I think you're online. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Yes. Hello, everyone. My name is Araceli. I am the coordinator of the program. So I will support you during the application process, and then I will be with you during the whole this whole journey, helping you with the deliverables, certificates, helping you whatever you want, whatever you need during this
She
time.
takes care of our students.
Yes. Yes.
She'll make sure you have everything you need. And I'm Jenny Hinderscheid. I'm the head of marketing for the DBA and MBA programs. So let's start. So thank you, everybody. And we'll get a chance for everyone to speak a little bit more in just a bit here. A quick look at why do a DBA? So a DBA is designed for experienced professionals who want to turn a complex business or organizational question into rigorous research. So it offers a structured way to deepen analytical capacity while staying grounded in practice. And for many candidates, the DBA is not about stepping away from their careers. It's about addressing real-world challenges with greater depth, developing as a scholar practitioner, and contributing original insight to both practice and knowledge. And we'll get into some examples of this in just a moment. So who's this program for? The program is intended for people who already bring substantial professional experience, who want to explore a research question in depth. And that includes senior managers, executives, consultants, and sometimes academics with a strong interest in applied research and impact. The DBA is demanding, but the development it supports is significant. Participants build the research capability, strengthen their methodological skills, develop a more structured way of thinking about complex issues. At the same time, they're also producing work that can influence practice, inform decision-making, and in many cases, like we'll see here today, lead to conference presentations or publications. And maybe you identify yourself in some of these points listed. So why GEM? GEM is a strong choice for the DBA because it combines academic excellence with a format that works for experienced professionals. So you benefit from the credibility of a triple accredited business school with more than 30 years of DBA experience and a community of over 800 students and alumni around the world. And moreover, we have expert supervision from day one and a genuinely international learning environment. The program is also supported by strong external recognition, including EdBack, CEO Magazine, and GEM's highly ranked research reputation. So I'm just going to give you quick highlights, and then I'll let Professor Schweitzer dive into the program itself. But one of the strengths of the program is its format. So it's structured to be rigorous, but also compatible with the realities of working. The program combines in-person seminars, online workshops, some optional masterclasses, is personalized one-on-one supervision, and this amazing learning environment that connects participants across different regions. So that is GEM and our program in a nutshell, and I will pass the reins to Professor Schweitzer, who will give us a few more details about the Global DBA.
Sure, thank you. So our DBA is, as already said, a global part-time research-based doctoral program, and it is designed for experienced professionals who want to address basically business challenges through rigorous academic research. And the program is designed to be completed in 3 years. That said, we do understand, of course, that our students are balancing doctoral studies alongside busy professional and also personal lives. So if circumstances such as increased work commitments or family responsibilities or career transition arise, it is possible also to extend the program for up to 5 years. And with this, we want to ensure that students have the flexibility that they need to successfully complete their dissertation. And one of the key strengths of our DBA program is its two-phase structure, which is specifically designed with the idea in mind to help the students stay on track and complete the program within these intended timeframes. And the phase 1, this spans approximately the first 18 months, and it focuses on building the research foundations that are required for a successful doctoral thesis. So throughout this phase, the students receive substantial guidance through our research seminars, through regular supervisions. The supervision, of course, stays on also for the phase 2, and also we have very clearly defined milestones. So indeed, in this phase 1, there are 3 key milestones: the research proposal, then the literature review, and then the dissertation proposal. And at the end of the students, they defend their dissertation proposal. So for your cohort now, who is joining like this fall, this would be April 2028. So quite still a journey. But once the proposal has been successfully defended, the students move into this phase 2 of the program. So this defense is a very, very important stage, because it provides an opportunity to receive rigorous feedback, not only from the supervisor, from whom you get throughout the process, you get feedback, but also from jury members who maybe for the first time hear about this thesis, about your proposition. And this helps you then, so once you get this feedback, to understand maybe what still has to be changed or adapted before you then invest significant time in the data collection and analysis in your phase 2, in the second stage. And maybe just to give you a brief idea of the proportions. So in the dissertation proposal, This is typically around 15,000 words, and it focuses on preparing this empirical work. And during the second phase, then the focus shifts from this planning the research to actually conducting the research, to presenting your findings, and also to developing into a full-fledged doctoral dissertation, which has then approximately 45,000 words. So this two-phase process, the idea of this is it has proven valuable for ensuring the student's progress and to enable you to really finish within this time frame. And next slide. Okay, so yes, our DBA is not any DBA, but it is a global DBA. So why is it global? So what does this really mean? So our DBA builds on the strong foundations of our established DBA programs, so of the DBA France and of the DBA US. We also successfully extended the programs to Poland, to Switzerland, and we have our DBA specializations in China, and important numbers of students from the Middle East and from Northern Africa in the last cohorts. So these international ambitions in the past, they naturally evolved into the creation of this global DBA. So rather than saying, okay, we maintain these separate regional cohorts here and there that maybe occasionally come together and at other times they remain distinct, we chose to build a single integrated program because we think that students benefit from such a really truly global cohort. They become part of a real international cohort, and they develop a powerful global professional network. And we hope or we expect that this network will also extend beyond than your graduation. And a cornerstone of the global DBA experience is the opportunity to learn from international recognized scholars throughout 4 intense one-week research seminars. So this is also a new feature of this global program, that all seminars will be delivered in person, because we found that this enhances the international learning experience because it fosters the direct interaction and collaboration and exchange among participants and faculty when people come in person. So before we had only 3 of these seminars in person, another one online, but we feel, this is the better way forward. So, and to support students when they are in their home locations around the world, so when they are not in these seminars, the program also has 8 online webinars. And they are designed to guide students through the key milestones of the DBA journey by basically revisiting the relevant processes and the expectations, and also providing an interactive forum of discussing questions, of sharing challenges, and also of clarifying the milestone requirements. How does the submission work? What has to be delivered, etc. And the majority of these webinars is held by the DBA academic directors, and we understand this also to serve as an important check-in point that allows us to identify and discuss possible challenges that you may be facing at specific points throughout your DBA journey, and to provide timely guidance and support. And yes, then beyond these rigorous, more research-focused components, which are really dedicated to supporting the progress of your DBA thesis, the program also offers a series of optional master classes. And these sessions, they provide opportunity to engage with researchers from GEM, but also from our global academic network, and to learn about their latest work and then to participate in discussions on globally relevant and also emerging research topics and research methods. And the idea is here to allow you to basically broaden your perspective beyond the immediate dissertation topic that you're working on, and to gain more exposure to a diverse range of research areas and insights into also very novel methods, research methods, etc. And finally, of course, in this global DBA experience, we have well-selected supervisors, typically one supervisor that works with you closely and who is a highly respected member of the international academic community, who has expertise in the area of your research topic, and with who you exchange about maybe once a month, maybe in certain phases more often, in others maybe a little bit less often, but very, very regularly throughout the whole 3 years, or maybe a little bit longer if it takes you for the one or the other reason longer. Yes. Then next slide.
Great, thank you. I think we'll have some more questions about those during the Q&A.
Yes.
That's great. And with that, maybe you'd like to introduce our alumni. So Fiona, you are also Zent's supervisor.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
I was lucky.
Great. So Zenta, why don't you just, I did some of your publications. There's probably just a small part of all the amazing things you've accomplished. Maybe take a moment to introduce yourself, tell us about your topic, and then, yeah, we'll ask you some questions. And I think people like to know, yeah, about your supervisee relationship, your experience with the DBA, and yeah, your publications.
Yeah, and I see you already have questions coming through, so I'll keep it short. But I would summarize it like this. So this particular, you can see that there are 2 publications listed. One, I did it while I was a candidate. I was going through the journey, and then the other was post my graduation, where we transformed my thesis basically into a publication that is robust enough for industrial marketing management, as you see here, which is a well-ranked journal, and we can certainly talk about the journey if that was interesting to everybody. So what I chose was a empirical approach. So like both, I think Jeannie and Fiona talked about, the methodology is important, like understanding how you're going to, so picking the research question, that one, and how you're going to approach it, what method you will take. And for me, it was a empirical study on digital and total customer experience in how they influence business outcome. And the business outcome I have chosen here was customer engagement. So I wanted to show an empirical relationship as it relates to my work, because I am interested in customer experience. And right now, I can definitely say with confidence that I am applying parts of what I have researched before in my current work. Yeah, in marketing. Yes. I think I'll pause there, Jeannie. I think
Okay.
we can take questions later.
Yes, thanks. I guess, Fiona, maybe you can talk a little bit about the publication process, since you guys just published a paper very recently.
Yes, I can maybe something that I would like to stress more here is that we all know, well, a DBA is a practice focused, and then there is, what is this? There is always this thinking about, what is an MBA? What is a PhD? What is a DBA? What has more value? And I think this work of Xanth shows very well that, I mean, basically a DBA is focused different to an MBA, which is more focused on acquiring knowledge. It focuses on creating knowledge through this rigorous research. And in this respect, it really shares a lot with a PhD. And some people, they believe believe that a DBA is somehow maybe less academic or less relevant than a PhD. And I want to use my speaking time here to say that I do not share that view like at all. And I think producing really impactful research that addresses challenges, business challenges, that this is increasingly important to both to academia and to business. And researchers are being asked increasingly again and again, not only to advance theory, but also really to demonstrate how their work can create meaningful practical impact. And I think that a DBA provides a unique opportunity to engage deeply with complex challenges and to develop such evidence-based solutions. And DBA candidates such as Xen, they are very well positioned to achieve this because they're working practitioners and they are often in a position also to implement and to evaluate the insights that they generate in their research. And due to this relevance of the DBA research, they can also reflect on it, and they can then present this confidently on conferences and publish it in journals also. And I think Xen examples very well shows that DBA students can publish in high-ranked journals. And yeah, because you asked about the process, of course, it is a hard process. It's not like you submit to a journal and they say, oh, yes, thank you, and we will publish this then and then. But maybe similar to going through these stages of the DBA journey with the stage 1 defense and then the stage 2 final defense. Also, the paper publication is a little bit similar. You submit and then, woo-ha, right? You receive all these comments of the reviewers. And I think Xen felt a little bit with the first reviewer comments of the journal coming back, like these lists of what the, like, oh yeah, I'm in, is this really publishable, right? So what can we do? Because I mean, there were so many points, and then you have to tackle them one point after another. And then you think, oh, now it's really, really good. And you submit it. And then after some months, again, the reviewers come with, yes, you've done this, but we still, do not trust this, or we have issues with this and with that point. So again, you go through it. But then this work, I think after the second round, right, we got the publications through. So we amended, we improved the paper, and it worked out to be a valuable contribution.
So hard work. So I think one of the questions was, do you have to publish? So the answer is no. Most students just do a monograph, a traditional thesis. And you can see that, yeah, for Xen, one of her publications was after. And I think that's when people then are more interested in continuing, because your work doesn't stop there, does it? The DBA is just a start to this new profile that you're building for yourself. I'm going to I think what we'll do is there's a lot of questions coming in, which is awesome. So I'll start to ask you guys some questions. And then towards the end, I will go over the Marie-Pierre and I will go over the application process and how to fill out your essay, if that's all right. So first question is, can we understand the hubs? So we said Europe, US, we're able to choose the hub. This is the question. So let me go back to the hubs. And this is going to probably look different every year. This is the format for this year, for this next intake. And then we say global hub because we also have these hubs around the world that sometimes will just have alumni events. We may be doing the master classes, but we do have these 4 in-person seminars that are obligatory. So I think that was another question. If you can attend these seminars online, their answer is mostly no, unless very rarely there's an extreme event where something happens and you really can't make it. We'll do our best to accommodate you, but this is a very rare exception. It's really important for you to be in person. This is where you meet your cohort, where very intense learning happens. And poor Zent, I think she followed some of this during COVID actually and had to attend some of her sessions online. So didn't get the, the full DBA experience, I think, to probably what she could have had. But hopefully that helps answer a little bit for those two questions. So 3 questions. So it's asked if we have a research hub in London. We don't, but we are opening a campus there. So that is something we can explore in the future.
That's true.
And does the dissertation topic need to be linked to your job? That's a good question. Fiona, do you want to maybe dive into that one?
It makes sense to link it closely to your job, especially because when you think of the big empirical phase, the data gathering phase, so access to data is very, very valuable. So when you can connect it to your job, this does not have to be necessarily your position. It might connect to where you want to be in the future, but it makes sense to have the ability to access existing data. For example, for Xen's research, she was able to access customer data and to conduct customer surveys in her company. This was not necessarily in her division, the division that she worked at that moment, but the department where she said, okay, she interacts with them. So having this or leveraging these data access is very, very valuable. So it is not like a must, but it is highly recommended, because else the empirical data gathering phase might be difficult.
Yeah, and I can, if I may, Jeannie, I can add on to give a little bit more context. I definitely think it's helpful. So you don't have to, but the way I look at it also is that it provides a trajectory for you, right? The reason, if you ask yourself why you would even be contemplating to take a DBA. So if it is somehow related to your current career path, it could be definitely strengthening your profile going forward. So that is how I approach it as well. Firstly, I do have like deep curiosity in the topic. I was in that role, but then it was a tangential topic related to marketing. So it definitely helps my credibility in my my career development. And to Fiona's point, it is so important because one of the key things that as researchers we struggle with is primary data. And if you could, through your work, have access to the primary data, it is so helpful for your research in itself and the contribution of the new knowledge. The last thing I would say is, if it's helpful to your work, you may be able to get your work to sponsor part of the course, which was what happened to me.
Excellent, thank you. Let's see, we have a question, a little bit changing topic. So is wondering about accreditation in the Middle East. So this is a DBA is different from a PhD. And that it's a professional doctorate. We are triple accredited, which validates our quality. That said, every country has their own specific rules about any program recognition, be it a master's, PhD, doctorate. For the most part, it doesn't really matter for professionals. You're looking for your research impact, you're looking for high quality, accredited degree. If you are perhaps working for the government or something along those lines where you need very specific country recognized accreditations, you may have to see within your country. So we can't guarantee that, for example, maybe you're looking for government funding and they only recognize, certain PhDs with agreements between the two countries, or you might have a very specific case. In this case, please reach out to us and we'll do our best to help you answer that question. But it's a very personal journey and things you need to look into perhaps before doing any degree. I hope that helps answer. I know that's quite loose, but the overall answer is it basically doesn't matter for 95% of our students. For that other 5, maybe come and see us and we'll try to understand your situation. So the workload per week and time needed for on-site meetings as well as webinars. Let's let's see. Well, let me go back to, oh no, I didn't present it this time. So our webinars was about once every 2 months, about, Fiona?
Yes, about.
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
right. And they're 2-hour seminars, big exchange spaces to see how things really evolve. And then we have these 4 seminars, which are also doable, but we also recommend, I mean, approximately to invest about 10 hours a week into the actual writing and thinking of your PhD. Of course, this is not like regularly, like 10 hours each week, but maybe 1 week, maybe 2 weeks. It's like maybe you take holidays and you work like full time on your PhD, right? On your DBA, sorry. And then again, there is a lot of workload during other works, like at your professional space, we work less. So it's not like these regular intervals. It makes sense also to work in phases, depending on the current point in time, but approximately about, it will take you roughly about 10 hours a week throughout this time period of the 3 years.
Zen, how did you manage your time? I guess, what was your experience?
Yeah, and I wanted to also help clarify. So like Jeannie said, right, my journey, I started in October 2020, which was COVID. So which means that the very first week-long seminar for me was actually online. But once COVID was, taken care of, we actually started the week-long session. And I think it was just, so I think I saw one of the question was how many of this is literally just 4, right? So from what I see on your slide here is 4 weeks over 3 years. And that is all that is in person. And the rest is the online webinar, which are actually optional, no? Because these are additional, sorry, or no, I
No,
shouldn't.
So
the online
is-
workshops, the online webinars, they are mandatory, they make sense. They're
Mandatory
really
to
about
as
the
well.
different milestones. The master classes, they are optional because they are
it's
not
the
directly
masterclass.
related to the research journey.
Okay. So yes, it's slightly different from my program. And I wanted to just on the workload, right? How I have tackled it, and I remember some of the professors was also sharing their best practice. I remember it's either after your work you kind of like switch mind and you do it after work. For me, how I've done it is all my weekends. So if Fiona was talking about 10 hours per week, it's like maybe 5 hours over the 2 weekends. For me, it was, let's say, a little bit more. So it's like how you choose to spend your time, right? So for me, Mondays to Fridays, I literally most of the time did not spend too much time on my DBA. Sometimes it's ideas that come in, so I jot it down, but I don't spend deep work on it because I didn't have that cognitive load. And then on the weekends, I just went all in so I chose to do it that way. And of course, it was many, many weekends over the years.
I think the students usually say the key is consistency. So setting aside those times and keeping up with it. Of course, yeah, life is complicated and there's a lot to do between balancing your personal life and work and studies. So for the optional masterclass, is there exams to take? So there are no exams. There are milestones, right? Fiona, would you like to, you explained this a little bit, but maybe you could touch on this a bit.
Yes, so basically all the workshops also and the seminars, they are participation based. So there are no grades. The grades are for the final thesis then. All this is to prepare and to help you improve and to get as good advancement as possible. And as mentioned also for the optional master classes, this is really to extend your knowledge of what there is around, maybe also to get an idea or to get impulses for your own research on, maybe you hear about a new method and you think, oh yes, I could maybe apply this for my workshop too, or just or else just to know and to compare and to see, okay, so this is a new method, so in how far is it better or worse than the method that I chose. So this helps to really reflect about research in general and your research in particular, and also to see how what you are doing is maybe related to other, but also just to get, also just to maybe satisfy your curiosity for academic research and for challenging business topics and how others approach it. So yeah, and as mentioned, it's optional, so it's not mandatory at all to participate in them. This is like something we offer in addition because we think it is valuable.
So a question for Zent. So you said that you're applying this in your work. How would you see how it's shaped your career? I guess a wider question for you.
Yeah, so it's actually two, I see it as two separate questions in a way. I mentioned one of it before. The career ROI piece is more the credibility that I managed to establish through would say how it has when I'm using the learnings in my work directly. So I give you an example. So for example, right now I'm hiring data scientist in my team, so I can have conversations with them. I don't know data science, but I can have proper conversations without knowing deeply what they are working on, because then I understand overall broad methodology and we are on the same wavelength in the terms of, you build a hypothesis, you are trying to test it out, and this is how it works, and so on. So some of it comes into maybe if it was a qualitative research, it's also a little bit around the fact-finding, the discovery. So basically, everything that we learned throughout the journey, it is knowledge additive, right, to our basically building our credibility, not on the topic per se, but also on the topic for sure, but also around the how you go about it, I would say, the methodology piece. It really forms that thinking.
Thank you. A lot of people say that it's changes the way they approach their work, that they're able to take more of a bird's eye view and think more analytically about how they approach things more holistically. So it's interesting. So question is our program focus on the energy sectors? Fiona, maybe you'd like to talk about our program itself doesn't, but we do have an amazing energy team. Perhaps you'd like to.
Yes, absolutely. So we are organized in specific research teams with particular topics, intense topics, and a very vibrant one is actually our energy team that focuses on energy transition, on alternative energy systems, and both from a geopolitical point of view, but also from a more business practice point of view, and also about consumption behaviors and changing consumption towards more energy efficient practices. So absolutely, this topic is very, we have a very dedicated research team with lots of international exposure also in this area.
Yeah, and there's a couple questions, I think, about energy. So we do bring in quite a bit of energy research. So if you have specific questions, reach out to us and we can introduce you to alumni who've worked in energy and different faculty. So I think that might be interesting for you. So please just pop us an email and we can help you out with that. And that said, for anybody who's got very specific industry questions, we recommend that you start by going onto our website. You'll see that we have different research teams. Your research doesn't have to fall under one of those teams, but you can get to sort of know our expertise, which is really quite wide. And you can see the latest publications from our faculty that might sort of pique your interest. And that might lead to, you might find somebody that you think could be your supervisor, or it might help you in your questions that you might have for us. Again, your DBA will be very specific to you, your question in your challenge. But this is a way for you to get to know us and could assist us in finding the best supervisor for you as well. Let's see, where are we with questions? So someone asked again about the hubs in Dubai. So we do have a campus in Dubai and a large group of alumni in the Middle East. So for this coming year, we probably won't have classes. We'll see if in next year or the year after, but we do have a hub there. So we could have research activities or alumni events. So we'll see as this goes, but at the moment, yes. So we do have a location in Dubai for networking. So another question about the program format. So it's not semester based. I think as Fiona said, it's the phase 1 and phase 2 and broken down into milestones. And this is a 3-year program that can be extended up to 5 years. And another question about the timing of the sessions. So the webinars are at actually 5 p.m. We kind of find that this is the magic hour where our California participants can join early in the morning. Our participants in the Middle East can still kind of log in the evenings. And then our poor participants in like Singapore will still join us at about midnight. But we still kind of find we're able to get the most people online at about 5 p.m. Paris time. Let's see. We will get to the questions. So a question about the reaching out to potential supervisors and the list. So I touched on this a little bit, but Fiona, maybe you'd like to go into maybe the supervisor matching a little bit more.
Yes, so basically this is something that is done by the academic directors. So based on the topic that you want to focus on, also the research method that you plan to use, so whether it's largely a qualitative approach or more quantitative approach or a mixed method, we will connect you with a supervisor. So this So you will have a first meeting with the supervisor, then both sides will see whether they find there is a good match topic-wise and personality-wise, and then you start working together. And of course, there can be at a specific point in time, but this is at a small number of cases only that, for example, a second supervisor joins in. For example, if you start off with one particular topic and that you want to focus on this industry, the supervisor has this industry expertise and also topic content expertise, and maybe it's a qualitative research and you plan a qualitative research, and then after a while, as your topic evolves, you find that a quantitative approach might be more meaningful to move this forward, and also your supervisor agrees that this is a good approach, then you might, a second supervisor might join in with this quantitative approach, or maybe you use a very, very specific technique because maybe in one of the optional masterclasses you hear about a method that is so exciting, but your supervisor would not have then this particular topic expertise, for example, with this specific new topic, then the co-supervisor would have this topic or this method expertise. So so this is basically how this evolves. So based on your first research proposal, on your application, you would try to find a good match with one supervisor. If we see that, well, this is if you want to have more options, then maybe we connect with 2 or 3 supervisors, then you choose this one or both, the supervisor and you choose to move forward, and maybe at a later stage another supervisor might join in. So that's this process.
Great, thank you. And I have a question about the hub. So just to clarify, you join one cohort, basically. We think that this is the DBAs, you learn just as much from each other as you do from from the classes. But these hubs are an opportunity for you to get to know different research and maybe alumni through different events, but it's one cohort in which you all get to interact. So
Yes.
another question. Oh, I have a question in real estate and investing. So we do have alumni who worked in real estate, but the question will become down to if you're, it's in investing or what we recommend is if you are kind of toying around with your research topic, which you probably are right now. We'll get to this in just a minute and how you apply. Start to think about your core question and feel free to write to us. And we can see, is it really real estate or is it investing or what is it, the problem that you're looking into? And our faculty will be able to sort of advise you on that. So a question about whether you can use the doctor title upon completion. This is it's not a straight question, it's a good question. It's a question that gets back to very specific things in certain countries. So professionally, yes, you can use the doctor title. In some countries, like mostly just Germany, I think, who have very specific cultural norms and sort of rules around only using PhD programs from their country. Aside from Germany, I'm not quite sure of other examples in which it gets a bit strange using the doctor title. But professionally, yes. But again, that's something that you'll need to look into depending on what you do for work, the impact, and where you're living. But we're happy to talk with you individually about that. So do you see graduates using the program as part of transition from the corporate world to consulting and teaching? Absolutely. I would say about, what do we have? About 30%, maybe a little bit less globally, a little bit more in the US because of our AACSB accreditations. Sometimes in the States, people will use this to fast track to maybe to a permanent position if they've been teaching for a long time. Most people are thinking about part-time teaching, consulting, or sometimes if you're maybe thinking about your last 10 years towards maybe retirement, maybe you'd like to sort of shift gears, change your trajectory, start to sort of give back through teaching and consulting. That's really quite common, these hybrid sort of mixed careers. Fiona, I don't know if you have anything to input.
No, absolutely. So, yeah.
All right, so I think that covered most of the questions, so hopefully I didn't miss anything. Let's just take a second to talk about the application process, so your next steps. This is the big part, I think. The rest is sort of self-explanatory, your traditional application with your CV, etc. This is the research topic and motivation statement. This is where we get to sort of know you and what you would like to do. This helps us understand your question, help pick a supervisor for you or advise you and, along that way. So what we look for is your research topic title. Again, we're not going to hold you to this. This is really just to get you started and get to know where your interests are. Once you get to the end of your stage one or phase one, this is going to, your topic will probably be the same, but your question will look quite different. So what is the managerial business issue you want to investigate and why? Your current state of knowledge on this topic. So with this is, so the managerial issue is what is the problem? What is it that you want to do? And then what do we already know about it? So what does the world know? We want you to start to get back into the groove of research, look up 5 recent articles. You look on Google Scholar, you don't need a paid account, or Research Rabbit, and try to put together, 500 words at least about what do we already know about this topic, and then start to think about your impact on that topic. How would that look like for you? What could you add to that topic? This is very kind of a loose way to get started. And it's a good practice anyway to sort of get the ball rolling. We want you to reflect on your methods and data collection. Again, you probably really don't know at this stage, and we're not going to hold you to this, but we want to sort of think, am I quantitative, qualitative? What access to data do I have in my field? What complications could arise? Just start to sort of think about where you're at. And your motivations to do this DBA. So, a DBA is definitely not for everyone. This is a chance for us to get to know you, what you want to get out of this, your sort of, your career goals, what you'd like to accomplish. Let's see, Liz, do my colleagues have anything to add about this? Some advice for filling this out or things that common questions you get? Fiona, Marie Pierre, maybe. Yeah, thanks.
No, thank you. That was clear for me.
Pretty good. Hope that makes sense. We find
yes,
that it's a good exercise to sort of get started anyway. Yeah. And you will have questions as you go. So definitely as you start to fill this out, feel free to message us. And what happens is when you apply, all of this will be looked over by our academic advisors, and they will then interview you and sort of poke and prod you and ask you more questions. And we use this to then for your acceptance. So with that, Marie Pierre, would you like to maybe go over the admissions a little bit?
Yes, quickly, thank you. So in addition to the DBA research topic proposal and motivation statement that Jeannie's just talked about, we need your documents to be able to evaluate your career path and your academic backgrounds. So to be able to apply, you need at least an MBA or master's degree or equivalent. You need to have 5 years minimum of professional experience, and you need to be fluent in English. So all documents have to be uploaded online. I'm here to help if you need anything. So I'll be happy to help you. We also need 2 reference letters, and you will find the templates on the website. And you will have an interview with one of our academic directors. We do have a limited number of scholarships available still, and the deadline to apply to this scholarship is June the 23rd. It's a modest scholarship awarded to early applicants and on merit, so 6,000 euros. But
please just send a 1-page letter about why you'd like the scholarship to accompany your application. That would be great. And we have a question from a GEM alumni. Yes, we do have a GEM alumni scholarship as well. So which I believe is a 20% scholarship. So please feel free to reach out to us with that. And so the other questions were program start date, which is in November. You can find all of the dates, I think, and also the schedules on the website, and the program fees as well, which were broken down into 3 years of 2020 and 20. And so please send Marie Pierre a message at dba@grenoble-em.com, and she can send you the payment schedule.
Yes, I will.
All right, so with that, I believe we are coming up to the end. How about one last piece of advice that you would give to anybody doing a DBA? Who wants to start? You need to think about it.
Just maybe because I've seen this conversation also a last question about AI and the use of AI, and maybe this can also be my final recommendation. So certainly you can use AI tools, you can use anything, you can use several different approaches, or how should I say, or different input or tools that help you in your in gathering knowledge, and certainly AI can be one of the tools. For example, there is Research Rabbit that has been mentioned just for identifying insightful papers, but there are also, of course, other approaches. So you can use Scholar to find papers. You can have more systematic database approach. You can get ideas on what might be a worthwhile paper to read from your supervisor or from colleagues or from people you just meet. So there is a multitude of different tools or approaches, for example, for identifying insightful papers, and AI is one of them, and you can use it. And then also for other stages, for reading the papers, for identifying how the data or how this how the paper is valuable to contribute to your research, or what to take out of the paper, what to learn from that paper for your research question. Again, you can see what AI recommends, what others recommend, but why they think this paper is valuable. And you can use all this, combine it with your own thinking and reflections, put it in your thesis. So as long as you use AI as valuable as one of several tools that you work with, this is a valuable addition to working, to developing a strong thesis.
Yeah, and our faculty are good at integrating this into the courses and helping you to give the correct prompts and teaching you along the way to use these tools correctly, so you're not just going down an AI rabbit hole as well, because you could just be creating more work for yourself. But I like to put research papers in Notebook LM and listen to them while I'm walking before reading it. So so I guess there is a couple more questions. So one is about the decision. So our decisions are given about 2 weeks after the application deadline. So we have our admissions board and our get to know everybody, and they review your application together. And so we really take your acceptance very seriously, and we like to the whole team likes to get to know you. So you can expect about 2 weeks after. So I think we have questions about moving to France. This program is designed to be followed sort of remotely. You can't get a student visa because it's a part-time professional program. We're not eligible for student visas. So we wouldn't be able to help you with work visas or anything along that way. We can issue you a letter so that you can apply for a travel visa to come for the seminars. We recommend that you do that in advance, and Araceli here will help you with that. But it is designed to be followed as a part-time professional program followed remotely. And another question about our alumni. So please send us an email and we'll look that up for you. We do have some really great alumni from Nigeria. Okay, I think we've covered all the questions. Now we'll get to the one piece of advice. Essentially, what piece of advice would you give to anyone doing a DBA?
Doing the DBA. During the journey, it is easy to feel overwhelmed, but don't be, because you get through it. It's just a phase. And I would say as long as you are persistent, you would be able to succeed, because this is research. This is not a syllabus or, something that is cast in stone that you absolutely need to do it a certain way. Because this research and it's your personal research, just work with your professor or supervisor and you find a way through.
Thank you. Fiona, do you have some advice?
Yeah, maybe make sure that you choose a topic that you're really passionate about, because you will read a lot about the topic. And in order to be great at the topic and to deliver a strong thesis, you have to stay motivated, to keep working, to keep reading. And this only works when you really care for the topic that you choose, and don't do it for any other reason.
Thank you. Marie-Pierre, do you have any advice?
Well, yes, I will send you a follow-up email with all the dates for the in-person seminars so that you can plan your trips in advance. And there are 4 in-person seminars seminars. The first one is November. So if you apply now, you have time to plan for your trips to France, and we'll be happy to welcome you in November.
Thank you. And my advice is time management is much harder than you think. So just be aware and be kind to yourself.
And you're speaking from experience, right, Jeannie?
I am.
Right
I'm
now?
also doing a DBA. But yeah, just before my phase one. So, yes, but it's fun. I'm enjoying learning. I'm also, yes, stressed and always behind, but I have my cohort to support me, and they're going through the same things, and know that we're not alone. And I try to procrastinate by going to the gym, so at least that's, feel a little less bad. But enjoying the process of learning, and just know that everything takes more time and more energy than you think it does. So just plan, but enjoy. All right. Well, thank you so much, Sanjay. Thank you so much for joining us and sharing your experience. I have read everything you published so far. I love your work. I love following you on LinkedIn. You can find her on LinkedIn. If you love marketing, definitely you can see all the exciting things she's up to. Fiona, thank you so much. I think anyone here on the call will reach out and get to know you. And please feel free to reach out to us if you have any questions. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.